Yeah.
Good evening. Before we start this evening, or as we start this evening, I just wanted to have a moment of silence for the loss of one of our students, Grace Writinghouse, before we start the meeting today. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. So it is my pleasure to open the annual reorganization meeting of the Garden City Union Free School District. I would like to begin by asking for a motion to appoint Ms. Dana DeCapua as temporary chairperson of the meeting.
May I have a motion? Motion granted.
Thank you, everybody. Welcome to the July 6, 2023 reorganizational meeting and regular session of the Board of Education. Please rise for the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Due notice of today's meeting has been served to all members of the Board of Education pursuant to the requirements of law. Tina, would you please do the roll call?
Present. 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 Present.
Present.
Present. Present.
Present. Present.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to start the meeting by calling for nominations for one member of the Board of Education to serve as president of the Board of Education for the ensuing school year. Do I have any nominations?
I nominate Joe Cilio.
Okay. Are there any other nominations? Okay, noting that there are none, can I have a motion to close the nominations for the president, for nominations for the Board of Education president?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Can I have a motion that Joseph Cilio will serve as president of the Board of Education for the ensuing official school year?
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you and congratulations. Mr. Cilio, would you stand and take the oath of office? They could do it.
Right by the flag. Right, the flag is good.
I state your name. Do solemnly swear. That I will support the Constitution of the United States of America. That I will support the Constitution of the United States of America. And the Constitution of the State of New York. Constitution of the State of New York. And that I will faithfully discharge the duties. Of the office of President of the Board of Education. The office of the Board of Education. Of the Garden City School District. The Garden City School District. Nassau County. State of New York. According to the best of my ability. According to the best of my ability. Congratulations. Perfect.
That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to call for nominations for the office of Vice President of the Board of Education during the ensuing official year, school year.
I nominate Tom Pennell.
Are there any other nominations? May I have a motion that the Board of Education closes the nominations for the office of Vice President of the Board of Education?
So moved.
Second. All in favor? Aye. There are no no's noted. Congratulations, Mr. Vice President Tom Panu.
I, Tom New,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of Vice President of the Board of Education,
of
of the office of Vice President
the office of Vice President
of the Board of
of
Education,
the Board of Education
of the Garden City,
of the City of School Board,
Nassau County,
Nassau County,
State of New York,
State of New York,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
May I have a motion that the Board of Education appoints Dana DeCapua as District Clerk for the 2023-2024 school year? So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Are there no's? None noted. You weren't getting away.
I'm stating. Do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America and support the Constitution of the State of New York and the Constitution of the State of New York. That I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of District Clerk of the office of the Garden City School District, the Garden City School District, Nassau County, and New York State, New York, according to the best of my ability. According to the best of my ability. Thank you.
Yeah, take the oath. No, you just say. so I will take-
At this time, Dr. Sinha will take her oath of office.
I state your name. I, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the State of the United States of America. I will support the Constitution of the United States of America and the Constitution of the State of New York and the Constitution of the State of New York. And that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of Superintendent of Schools of the office of Superintendent of Schools of the Garden City School District of the Garden City School of Nassau County, State of New York, State of New York, according to the best of my ability. According to the best of my ability.
At this time, may I have a motion that the following board members be appointed to the following committees for the 2023-2024 school year? Village of Garden City trustees Panu and trustee Cilio. For BOCES, trustee Janeco and trustee O'Donoghue. To the audit committee, trustee Panu and trustee Cilio. To legislative affairs, trustee Gaffney and trustee O'Donoghue. For policy review, trustee Gaffney and trustee Janeco. For district safety team, trustee O'Donoghue and trustee Panu. Second. All in favor? Aye. Are there any no's? None noted. At this time, may I have a motion that the following board members be appointed to the following association liaisons for 2023-2024 school year? Central Property Owners Association trustee Gaffney. Eastern Property Association trustee Cilio. Property Owners Association of Garden City Estates, trustee O'Donoghue, and Western Property Association, trustee Janeco.
So
And then-
moved.
Sorry, and then trustee Panu is at large, central section.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Are the noes? None noted. To make more efficient use of the meeting time, the Board of Education authorizes the use of the consent agenda as part of the meeting agenda. As most of you know, a consent agenda will allow one motion to approve multiple board items and such items as identified on the agenda. President will ask for a motion to approve the consent agenda, and the board members will ask to have a discussion or a specific item contained within that agenda pulled or discussed. Following the discussion, they will vote on the consent agenda. In addition, any board member, as I said, can pull or request something be discussed. At this time, may I have a motion to approve the consent agenda, which includes business of the board items C1 through C4, district appointment items D1 through D20, business matter items E1 through E10, and business matters items E1 through E10.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. At this time, may I have a motion that the Board of Education adjourns the district reorganization meeting and opens the regular session.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We're now on to the regular meeting items. May I have a motion that the Board of Education accepts the agenda for July 6, 2023 regular session as presented?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Mrs. DeCaprio, will you please give the treasurer's report?
There will not be a treasurer's report this month. It's early in the month. The May will be presented in August.
Thank you. Effective Friday, July 7th, 2023, tomorrow, the district-wide safety plan will be available on the district website for a 30-day public comment period. After such time, the Board of Education will be adopting the plan. Please send any comments to the district clerk, Mrs. DeCapua. If you have any comments, please take a review if you're interested in the district-wide safety plan.
If I could just mention one thing with our district-wide safety plan, it's on the website under news, right on the front page. Just have to scroll down a little bit. It's right in the center. So again, we really appreciate comments from our community members on the safety plan. Again, those go to Mr. Capua. There are two major, if I can just share two major, our safety plan has been pretty constant. Two major additions to the safety plan is we had to add a remote instruction plan in case of emergency and schools needed to close for an extended period of time. We have added that to the safety plan. And we also have to ensure that there's digital equity as part of our plan, meaning that our students have devices and they have access to Wi-Fi, again, for a longer duration if schools are closed. So that's been added as well to the safety plan.
Thank you, Dr. Sinha. At this time, we have some board policy updates. We won't be reading all of them, but there's the board policy 0110, which is sexual harassment, board policy 0115, anti-bullying and harassment, policy 4257, acceptable use, annual board policy 5100, which is the comprehensive attendance policy, board policy 6240 on investments, policy 5300 on code of conduct, and policy 6700 on purchasing. We also have board policy 6900 on disposal of district property, board policy 4321.41, special education personnel qualifications and training, and then policy 8121.1 on opioid overdose prevention. At this time, I'll hand the mic over to you, Dr. Sinha.
Thank you, Mr. Cilio. With those policies, there have been no changes to the policies, but they are required for annual reading. And again, all of our policies are available on our website under Board of Education. So for my report, I wanted to start off by, it's been, this week has been a very sad week in our district, in our school community, with the loss of one of our students, Grace Reddington. We have supports in place here at the high school for this week. And again, whenever anybody needs support, whether it's families, students, or even our staff, Mr. Steingrubner, who's here, in the high school, him and his staff, they have coordinated, efforts here to provide that for our families. We also have on our website resources. So again, it's it's one of those things that it's one of the worst things for a school community to have a loss of a student. So for the additional items that I have for my report is, graduation. That was on June 24th. It was a wonderful, even though it was indoors, we had a wonderful graduation. We celebrated our graduates, and our summer newsletter will be devoted to our graduates. We're working on that, and that'll be out in a couple of weeks. I also wanted to recognize 69 of our students participated in the national Italian exams, and the exam is a web-based proficiency test, and our students excelled. They did a wonderful job. They received gold, silver, and bronze medals, as well as achievement awards. I also wanted to mention our camp invention was last week. We always get such a wonderful attendance, and students are very excited to create some of those projects. And this week, our extended school year program started along with some of our scope programs. So, and they're again housed at the middle school, and we love seeing our kids. They've enjoyed it this week so far. Some of our building projects that's been underway. I think I included that in the weekly for the board. Our libraries, both of our libraries have been pretty much, that space has been emptied, and the construction has started. We also, Mr. Capio, myself, and principals met this week with the architects regarding our courtyards, and at the high school, the space in front of the cafeteria. So that's going to be underway as well. So we're excited, and we'll be sharing more about our summer projects as these are underway. We also have the Stewart roof. That's a big project. We're widening the loop at Stratford as well. So there's lots in every single building except for the middle school this year. Last year we had the middle school, but every building has something going on except for the middle school this year. We already talked about the safety plan, and with the agenda items, we do have an interim assistant superintendent for curriculum instruction on the agenda. Our goal is to start an interactive process, a search process that will start in September. We want to make sure that we have included all of our stakeholders, and our goal is to post for the position in December, and then do again an extensive process for the search. And we also have appointments on the agenda for co-curricular and coaches. At this meeting, we typically have those agenda items as well. Okay, that's all I have.
I would just like to add, as Dr. Sinha said, we have a motion here to appoint Judy Barbera, who has done work in the district previously, and maybe you can just give a little color on her background for folks. I know it's a big change for us.
Sure. So Ms. Barbera, her background, she's a retired assistant superintendent for curriculum and instruction. She has done some work in our district, particularly in the area of the curriculum work that we have done, the curricular articulation work. And she has also worked with some of our principals as coaches. So she's familiar with our district, and we believe that this will be a good transition for us for this year till we find a permanent replacement for that position.
And I would just like to say, I think I speak for the board on this one, but we'd like to move as quick as possible to find the appropriate candidates and really make that process rigorous. So as Dr. Sinha said, we want to get all stakeholders involved, but we also want to move as quickly as possible, because we think that's an enormously important role for everybody here. And I think a lot of questions that come up in these committees stem from that position, or should be answered by the person who would fill that role. So anybody has any questions or comments, obviously feel free to reach out to the board.
One more item, Mr. Cilio. Ms. McLaughlin, can you just give an update on our hiring and where we are with our some of the open positions, please?
Thanks, Dr. Sinha. So we've been hiring since March, and we're in a really good place. We only have a couple of hires left, 2 nurses, 1 teacher, 2 teacher assistants, and I'm not sure how many aides, it's 2 or 3. Those are all in the process, and I expect to have appointments for the board on the August agenda. So that's good. Thank you so much.
I would just like to make mention that we obviously had a retirement event a couple of weeks ago. It was nice. We unfortunately had a bunch of teachers who were leaving us, who've been here a long time, but we've done a good job. And Ms. McLaughlin has done a nice job of backfilling for people who are retiring. So appreciate the work and congratulations to those who, retired a few weeks ago. So thank you. Does any of the other members of the Board of Education have any questions or comments that they'd like to raise at this time?
No, just President Cilio and I attended with Dana DeCaprio and Superintendent of Schools. We attended the audit committee a few weeks ago, and Mr. Cabby, they'll be reporting back to the public in September, where they're coming back with a report. October. Okay, thank you.
Just with the district-wide school safety plan, it's going to be online. Take a look at it. We had a lot of issues this year. There's a lot of work that goes into that, both by the people up here and the building principals really put a lot of work into this. Something I think you should take a look at. If you have any comments, you can see me personally in the street. I have no problem. If you don't want to come up here, but I think it's something on everybody's mind. And a ton of work goes into it. I was very impressed when I first came, and then see the changes this year. It's not something that's rubber stamped. They really took into consideration what went on this year. So take a look at it.
Are there any other questions from the Board of Education on the agenda items? At this time, it's time for citizens' questions and comments on any of the agenda items. If you step forward, please give us your name and your address.
Hi, Sivan Chapman, Willow Street. I'm trying my hardest to get through this without sobbing. Thankfully, no one can see because I'm an ugly crier. So bear with me as I read this. It's a very emotional, charged subject and difficult to speak about. 7 years ago, my daughter was diagnosed with autism. Within months, we learned the severity of it. She is, and may very well probably always be, nonverbal. She will require care for the rest of her life. This means for the rest of mine and my husband's, for the rest of my children's life, and then their children will need to look after her as well. I constantly get told how strong I am. Tiger mom, superhero, how lucky she is to have me as her mom, etc. I would love nothing more than to lose this so-called luck and have Raina participate in sports, have playdates with friends, go on family vacations, hear her say, "Mommy, I love you." But I don't really have a choice. These are the cards I was dealt with. And I will forever be there holding her hand and trying my hardest for her to understand how much I love her and how much I will do for her and fight for her. Although it may not have been what we pictured, with the help of our community, our dedicated therapists, our friends and family, we have and still are adjusting every day. What has been the most difficult part has been dealing with our school district's administration. Let me take you through this. When your child is diagnosed with anything, the people you turn to is your school. They're the ones who are supposed to help you. Now, imagine how it feels when the people you turn to also decide what information they will release to you and hold the purse strings. It's the worst catch-22 you'll ever see. Why am I telling you this? Because aside from my role in SEPTA, I have always been vocal about special education. The reason wasn't to preach about it, but opposite. It was to learn. If your neighbor's cousin's dog had autism, I wanted to speak to you, and vice versa. Parents had always felt comfortable to do the same with me. I listened to them very well, knowing I myself have the same exact problems. I sit here for years at BOE meetings, usually alone, besides that one year. There's a lot of people. And I see and hear all the presentations, but one thing keeps staying the same. In the last few months, I've seen parents stand up here and read letters, yell and cry, all because they felt hopeless, exhausted, and feeling unresolved. I'm calling on all of you to mend the relationship of special education families and our administration. I'm asking that you probe into our programs to view what is being done right and what we can do with that, to sit with our teachers, our aides, our parents, and even our students, to not check a box and to prioritize quality over quantity. I'm asking that you say, sorry, I was wrong, that you reply to parents, that you speak to them, hold their hands, that you be transparent and explain your reasoning, that we may not always like it. I also call for parents to be understanding of school limitations, speak about the many, many wonderful things they do, and to not run out and feel like you must shield yourself before you try the resources that are there for you, to stand up without fear and to volunteer to your cause. We have a hard enough time dealing with a child who has a speech delay, reading under their level, ADD, administering meds, or like me, sitting in therapies 4 times a week, 3+ hours at a time. This part I'm speaking of, this should be the easy part. You should be the people who make it easier for us, not further exhaust us. So please, again, look into what it is that isn't working and correct it from its essence. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Chapman. Does anybody else have any questions at this time? At this time, once again, to make efficient use of the meeting, we're going to authorize the use of the consent agenda. If anybody wishes to have an item pulled or removed, please let me know or vote on the motion separately. At this time, be it resolved that the Board of Education approves the consent agenda, which includes business of board items J1 through J3, personnel items K1 through K10, business office matter items L1 through L9, curriculum and instruction items M1 through M3, and special education matters items N1 through N5.
So moved. Second.
All in favor? Aye. At this time, we have a resolution number 1, settlement agreement. Resolve, the Board of Education hereby approves a stipulation of settlement with a parent of a child with a disability resolving a matter brought under the IDEA, and hereby authorizes the President of the Board of Education to execute that agreement on the behalf of the district.
Second. So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Resolution number 2, settlement agreement number 2, resolve that the Board of Education hereby approves a stipulation of settlement with a parent of a child with a disability resolving matter brought under the IDEA, and hereby authorizes the President of the Board of Education to execute that agreement on behalf of the district.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Resolution number 3, this is a NISBA nomination. Be it resolved, the Board of Education hereby nominates Margaret Marchand, President of the Board of Education for the Locust Valley Central School District, to serve as Area 2 Director of NISBA Board of Directors.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Is there any new business from the board?
None.
Is there any new business from the administration? Did I miss
Is there,
something?
excuse me, one moment. No, that's only good. We're
I did.
good. We're good.
Correct.
You're
I
good.
did too. Yeah. All right.
No business. from me.
No business.
Yeah.
Future of the Board of Education meetings, Tuesday, August 22nd, 2023 is a regular session here at the Garden City High School at 8:15. May I have a motion that the Board of Education adjourns to executive session for a confidential matter?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
You do.